Look around you, at your workplace, in your community, online. There are people achieving extraordinary things while starting from the same place as everyone else. They're building incredible bodies, successful businesses, meaningful relationships. What do these people know that others don't? They understand the 1% mechanism. This isn't some self-help gimmick or social media trend. It's a fundamental truth about human potential that's been demonstrated throughout history, and yes, even reflected in the stories we love.
Think about the people you admire most. The entrepreneurs, the athletes, the artists. What makes their journey so compelling? It's rarely natural talent alone. It's that they embrace something most people are unwilling to acknowledge. The path to greatness isn't about making one massive change. It's about the power of tiny, consistent improvements that compound over time.
The 1% mechanism is beautifully simple. Improve by just 1% every single day. That's it. 1 single percent. Sounds small, right? Almost insignificant. And that's why most people miss it. They're looking for the dramatic transformation, the viral success, the overnight sensation that changes everything in an instant. But real life doesn't work that way. Neither does real growth.
Let's break this down. Mathematically. If you improve just 1% each day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. Because of compounding, you become 37 times better. That's not 37% better. That's 37 times your original self. This is why the gap between the extraordinary and the average seems so vast. It's not that extraordinary people made one huge leap. They simply understood the power of small, consistent improvements that others were too impatient to pursue.
When I first started my own journey, I was captivated by transformation stories. Remember how Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team? How J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers? But day after day, effort after effort, they learned. They adapted. They improved. Sometimes by such tiny margins that you could barely see the difference. Until one day, you look back and realize they've become something extraordinary. That's the 1% mechanism at work.
But wait, you might say. Those are exceptional people with exceptional circumstances. You're missing the point. The most successful people in any field understand human potential better than most psychologists. They've tapped into timeless truths about growth, resilience, and transformation, and they've applied these truths in ways that produce real results. The question isn't whether these principles apply to you. The question is, why are you resisting the lessons they offer?
Ancient Stoic philosophers understood this principle. Marcus Aurelius wrote that excellence isn't an act, but a habit. Buddha taught that tiny drops of water eventually fill an entire pot. Modern psychology confirms it too. The concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement through small steps, has transformed industries. Neuroplasticity research shows our brains physically rewire themselves through consistent small actions. This isn't just motivational talk. This is human potential, distilled to its essence.
So, what does this mean for you? It means that massive transformation isn't about making dramatic changes. It's about having the courage to take that first small step, and then another, and then another. Even when you can't see immediate results, it means understanding that on most days you won't feel different. You won't see progress. The 1% is often invisible in the moment, but the most successful people in history teach us to trust the process anyway.
How do you apply the 1% mechanism in your life? First, choose your path. What's your ultimate goal? Your dream? Your vision? Second, break it down into the smallest possible daily improvement. So small, it seems almost meaningless. Third, commit to that tiny improvement with absolute consistency. Every single day. Fourth, trust the compounding effect, even when your eyes tell you nothing is happening. Fifth, when obstacles appear, and they will, remember that overcoming resistance is part of the mechanism. Each obstacle is actually accelerating your growth.
This is what separates legends from everyone else. Not talent, not luck, not resources. It's the willingness to embrace the power of tiny improvements when everyone else demands overnight success. It's the courage to keep going when there's no external validation. It's the wisdom to understand that transformation happens in the shadows, long before it becomes visible to the world.
Let me tell you a secret that most people will never understand. The day before, a breakthrough looks exactly like the hundreds of days that came before it. No fanfare, no dramatic music, no highlight reel showing your progress. Just you showing up again, making that 1% improvement that seems to lead nowhere, until suddenly it leads everywhere.
The 1% mechanism isn't just what exceptional achievers know that others don't. It's what the extraordinary have always known that the ordinary refuse to accept. The gap between who you are and who you want to become isn't as vast as you think. It's just 1%, repeated with unwavering consistency.
The question isn't whether this works. The question is, are you willing to be the hero of your own story? Are you willing to embrace the 1% mechanism?
The power has always been yours. Just like the icons who've inspired millions. You already have everything you need to transform your life, 1% at a time. Now go. Make that first 1% improvement today. Your future self is waiting.
When the world tells you that extraordinary achievements require extraordinary talent, remember this truth. The most powerful force in the universe isn't genius or luck. It's the relentless accumulation of consistent, intentional effort. While others search for shortcuts that don't exist, you'll be quietly building an unshakable foundation, day by day, 1% at a time. And when you finally reach that summit everyone thought was impossible, they'll call it an overnight success, never seeing the thousands of small decisions that forged your path. That moment isn't the miracle. You are.